Hello, welcome in another important video. I hope you all are doing great. So in this video, we are learning about packaging in Electron.js. So let's understand what is packaging first. So packaging is nothing but a way of converting our code into a single shareable entities. What does this mean is whenever we will create our Electron application, we will create multiple files, we will write multi-line code, and we will create our application in a development mode. So now imagine we want to distribute that application with the users. So in that case, we cannot share our created code with the users because there is a lot of other complications, like we don't want to share our entire work with someone else. And even if you try to share your code with someone else, the next person has to do entire setup on his machine to run that project. So there is a lot of other complications also. So all in all, we can say we cannot share our code, and that's not the correct way to share our application with the users, right? So now the question is, what is the right way to share our application with users? So entire packaging process starts after development phase. So once our development is done, we can create a package of our application. Now this package could be anything. It could be a zip file, it could be a exe file, it could be anything, but it has to be a single shareable entity. Now, before we start understanding how packaging works, it's important to know why packaging is required. The first benefit of using packaging is it lowers support cost. What does this mean is, the example that I shared with you earlier also, let's say you have developed one application and you want to distribute that application. Now let's imagine there is no such thing like packaging. Now you will share your code with the users, and user tried to install it. So in that case, you will have to provide support to that user to help with installation. So now packaging helps to lower support cost. Second important benefit that we get with packaging is ease of distribution. Now with the help of packaging, you can distribute your application easily. You don't have to worry about any file is missing with the setup, and you don't have to worry about anything. Once you have created your package, you are good to distribute it. Third important benefit that we get with packaging is control over software installation. Now whenever we will create our package, now as a software developer or as a company, you can decide what type of installation steps that you want user to do before your software will get installed. So now there are different type of installers we will see in our upcoming videos. And the last but most important thing is minimizing security risks. So if you are not using packaging, you will have to share your entire code with the users. So now in that case, you are creating security risk for your company and your brand name. If any user have enough knowledge of the code, and if he change anything inside your code and distributed that package to other users, so it will ruin your company name, it will ruin your brand value. So to avoid all such scenarios, we are using packages. So now we know why packaging is required. So now let's understand few libraries that is helping us to create package of our Electron application. So all these library references you will get in official Electron documentation as well, but let's go through these packages one by one. Okay, but still I have prepared a list here. First is Electron Packager. So now Electron Packager is also one of the good library which allows us to create package of our application. But I personally don't recommend Electron Packager as well as Electron Forge because it has limited specifications. I personally use Electron-builder to create build of my applications. There are a few factors that helps us to decide which packager we can use. First is architecture support. So Electron-builder provides multi-platform support. So you can create build of your Mac application as well as your Windows application, and also internally it helps to create multi-architecture support. So you can create 32-bit separate build, and so you can create separate build for 32-bit architecture, and you can create separate build for 64-bit. Same with Mac. Then next, an important thing I would say is build size. So I personally use Electron Packager, and Electron Packager is creating build, but that build is more than 600 MB, and sharing build which is more than 600 MB is kind of headache, and people will not take interest in our application. So our application size has to be as minimum as it can, but the problem with Electron is it cannot be lesser than 80 MB or 60 MB because 40 MB occupies by Chromium, and we all know this is the disadvantage in Electron. But okay, and certainly we can follow some best practices and reduce our application size. So application build size is another factor that I consider before I choose Electron packager. Third important thing I consider is Electron installer support. So now, as we discussed earlier also, company or developer can decide what steps that user have to follow before application will get installed in user's machine. So we can also choose Electron installer using Electron-builder. And the fourth important thing that I consider is auto update support. So Electron-builder supports auto update. That's why I personally choose Electron-builder to package my applications. Alright, but there is no restrictions. You can also try Electron packager and you can have your own experience, and then you can decide which fits for your needs, right? So for now, I'm going to use Electron-builder itself. So let's click on this link, and this is the official documentation of Electron-builder. And you can see the first section is giving introduction about what Electron-builder is doing and some basic stuff that we need to know before we start with Electron-builder. All right. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to install Electron-builder in our project. So now here I have one basic Electron project, and you can see it. This package.json file has nothing, but in a moment we are going to fill this package.json file with a lot of configurations. All right. So first thing that we need to do here is we need to install Electron-builder. So I'm going to write one command, npm install Electron-builder. But now we cannot install. But now we don't have to install this Electron-builder as a normal dependency, because whenever we will package our application, we don't want Electron-builder to be part of our build. So I'll simply put -d, which will install Electron-builder as a dev dependency in our project. So let's hit this. So now while it is being installing, let's see some configurations. So one of the beauty of Electron-builder is it allows you to choose multiple platforms. It allows you to choose variety of platforms. So you can, if you want to share your build as a exe, so you can create exe build. And if you want to share your application as a zip file, so you can share your zip file as well. Alright, so now Electron-builder is installed. So now let's try to configure our package.json file to create our build. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to create one script. Let's say you can choose any you can give any name to this script, and then you just have to write Electron-builder. That's it. And even if you leave it as it is, and if you run this script, let me do it. So even if you run this script as it is, it will create package of your application. So now it will create one folder inside your current working directory. So in my case, it is a dist, and since I have already created few builds, so you can see this is how it looks like. So inside of it, you will see one bin unpacked file, and this file is basically unpacked version of your package. Let's say if you want to create zip file instead of creating, so let's say if you want to create zip file instead of creating exe file, you can simply choose that as well. So let me go inside of package.json file. Now before we edit this package.json file, let me tell you there is another version of Electron-builder. It's not a version, but it's another way we can use our Electron-builder, and it's the command line interface. So you can install Electron-builder as a global package, and then you can start using this commands to create your build. But I personally would not recommend you to use this, because each time whenever you want to create a build, you have to write these commands, and it's a manual process. So we have another way is we can edit our package.json file, and Electron-builder will automatically read our package.json file to create a build, and it will solve our purpose, right? And now I want to create a zip of my application. So you can see there is no zip file at the moment. It's 7z but not a zip. So if you see this documentation, you will see one section for Windows, so you can refer this as well. Let me see it here. Okay. And also if you go inside the configurations, common configurations, and this is how you can edit your configurations inside package.json file. So as you can see, we have to create one object inside our package.json file with name build. So let me copy this and let me paste it somewhere here, and make sure that this object has to be a root object. It should not be part of any other object, right? And that's it. So this is your app ID. So app ID is nothing but unique ID given to any application. Whenever you are working on development mode, it is not important, but I personally use app ID in a Mac applications where all application permission gets assigned to application with this app ID itself. So this is really important if you are using Mac and if you are working on any production application. So, and Windows as well if you are working on your production application. So now the next thing that we can do is we can set our target. So since we want to create zip file, we have to set our target as a zip. So let me go inside of it, and if you observe here, we have separate section for Mac operating system, we have separate section for Windows operating system. So inside of Windows, let's go inside the target, and these are all available targets that we can add to create our build. So let me quickly show you how we can do it. So inside of build, let me put one comma and I'll add win, and inside of Windows I will put target, and this target is nothing but an array. So now we can provide multiple values here. So in my case, I'm providing zip, and I also want MSI. MSI is nothing but another installer. So let me go back here and close this, and let me run npm run package command. Alright, so now command is successfully completed. You can see there is a zip file, and so with this way you can add new configs for Electron-builder, and it's not too complicated to work with Electron-builder. You will get examples, and as well as if you scroll it a little bit down, you will see some boilerplates, some tutorials to start with Electron-builder. So now we know why packaging in Electron is important, and we also saw how to configure our Electron application with Electron-builder. Alright, so let me know if you find any difficulties while using Electron-builder. So I think that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.